Guys, Abby here. Welcome to another episode of If I Were You, where I answer your questions and try my best to give you some advice based on my personal experiences and my point of view. Actually, medyo nahirapan akong pumili ng mga tanong na isasama dito this time kasi ang gaganda ng lahat ng mga sinesend nyo na tanong. Pero kung isasama ko yun lahat, baka umabot ng 2 hours yung video natin sa sobrang daldal ko. So, pumili na lang ako ng mga questions na feeling ko maraming makaka-relate. So, here are your questions. First question, how to deal with LDR? Ayan, ito yung inuna ko kasi I got about 5 or 6 questions na puro tungkol lang sa LDR. Siguro madaming LDR ngayon, no? Dahil sa pandemic din siguro. But when it comes to LDR, there are 4 things that immediately come to my mind, which are trust, compromise, communication, and commitment. I think without trust, any relationship is bound to fail, di ba? LDR man o hindi. And of course, compromise because you will have to meet halfway. Dahil hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon magkatugma yung schedule nyo ng partner mo. Diba? So, you will have to be willing to adjust to each other's time. Bigayan kayo. And communication, of course, is important for any type of relationship. But more so kung LDR kayo. You know, without this, mamamatay ang relationship nyo. And I think this is the greatest challenge of LDR. Kasi kailangan mong humanap ng maraming ibang ways to communicate with your partner. Because, you know, it can get monotonous sometimes. So, it shouldn't be limited to just chatting or video calling. You have to find creative ways to communicate with your partner na hindi siya mabubore, na, you know, hindi na siya tatamarin na kausapin ka kasi paulit-ulit na lang. Because, you know, it will get to that point pag sobrang tagal na. Diba? And ayaw naman natin na mangyari yun. So, we have to really be creative in showing our partner na, you know, I still love you, I'm here for you, and I'm always thinking about you. You know, maybe you can set up mga online dates or maybe you can watch a movie together. Alam ko may mga apps na ngayon na pwede kayong manood ng movie ng sabay kahit hindi kayo magkasama. And many other ways. You can siguro send mga snail mail, you know, iba pa rin yung letter na sulat kamay talaga, yun talaga natatago. Or, you know, padalhan mo ng regalo. Yung tipong hindi mo man siya mapuntahan, you can at least send a part of you to that person. You have to be able to keep yourself alive in that person's memory constantly. Kahit na alam mo na mahal ka naman niya at palagi ka naman niyang naiisip, you know, it never hurts to go the extra mile, diba? Don't be complacent. And most importantly, commitment. Dahil lahat ng binanggit ko, hindi nyo magagawa if you both are not committed to the relationship. And of course, commitment has to be mutual. Hindi pwedeng ikaw lang ang committed, hindi din pwedeng siya lang. You know, LDR is difficult, pero kayang-kaya kung may commitment kayong dalawa sa relationship nyo. And if I were you, I would also be afraid of LDR, you know. I would think na, baka ito na yung rason kung bakit hindi mag-work out yung relationship namin. You know, LDR is something that a lot of us fear. A lot of those who are in a relationship fear. Kasi nandun yung, alam nyo yung thought na out of sight, out of mind. Pag hindi mo nakikita, hindi mo naiisip. So, there is that fear. And that pressure also. Kaya medyo mahirap siya. Mahirap, actually hindi medyo, mahirap. It's very challenging. Because also for sure, 100%, you will have to make sacrifices for your relationship. But then again, sacrifice is the measure of love, diba? And there is no other way to test your capacity to love more than distance. Pero kasi kung mahal mo talaga yung tao, then it shouldn't be that difficult naman. Some say that long distance is a hindrance to any relationship. It will test the limit of your relationship and your love for each other. But I see it as a chance to grow in love with your partner on another level. You know, it will teach you many other valuable things na hindi nyo matututunan kung walang LDR. You know, it will teach you things like patience and understanding, and it will teach you many other different and new ways to love and appreciate your partner. And one last advice, pray. Pray for each other and pray together. If God is in the center of your relationship, then lahat ng pagsubok na dumating sa relationship nyo, malalampasan nyo. Next question. How to be productive every day? First, I think you need to figure out what productive means to you. Kasi iba-ibang ibig sabihin yan for each person. Some people see rest as being productive. Some people's definition of productive is being able to do everything that they planned in a day. No? So, ano ang ibig sabihin ng pagiging productive para sa'yo? Kasi kung di ka sure kung ano yung productive para sa'yo, baka makaligtaan mo na, ay productive naman pala ako today, hindi ko lang napansin. 'Di ba? Kasi hindi ka sure sa definition mo of productivity. And once you have defined what productivity means to you, it will be easier for you to set goals para ma-achieve mo yun. And I suggest that you set short-term goals if you are the type of person that thinks that long-term goals are difficult and unreachable. So set short-term goals instead. Like for example, if you can't plan for the next month or the next week or even the next day, then plan for the next hour. Like for example, dapat in the next 2 hours makapag-workout na ako at makaligo na ako. And then after that, plan again for the next hour na. Dapat after nun, makapag-breakfast na ako at makapagtrabaho or makapag-aral na ako. Yung ganun ba? Because sometimes short-term goals makes us think na madali lang to, magagawa ko to. They make it easier to achieve. And as a result, mas nagagawa mo siya. And naiiwasan mo ring tamarin. Kasi laziness is the number 1 enemy of productivity. Minsan pag tinamaan tayo ng katamaran, wala na. Feeling natin wala na tayong magagawa for the whole day. Hihiga na lang tayo and we end up not doing anything at all. But like I said in one of my episodes, discipline will save you pag tinatamad ka, pag wala kang motivation. Watch nyo yung episode 16. Sana makatulong din yon for this question. And if I were you, I would be struggling with this too. Lalo na ngayon nasa bahay lang tayo palagi and it seems counterproductive kasi hindi tayo sanay. Ako pa naman yung tao na napakabilis tamarin. It really takes time to discipline ourselves. Pero ang importante, we don't stop trying. Set daily goals. If not, set hourly goals para mas madaling ma-achieve yung productivity na gusto mo. Next question. How about po, binigay na po yung virginity? Napaisip ako kung dapat bang isama ko yung question na to because it's a very sensitive topic. But I realized that this might be a silent cry that many have. Hindi lang na i-open up, hindi lang na itatanong dahil takot mahusgahan. I am not here to tell you what is right or wrong. And I am definitely not here to condemn you for the choices that you make. I understand that we all have different views when it comes to sexuality. So this is for those who feel like they made the wrong choice. For those who feel guilty. For those who feel ashamed of themselves for giving in. Para to sa mga nagsisisi kasi hindi na nila mabawi yung binigay nila. I am of course speaking from a Christian point of view. I want you to know that it is never too late to live purely. Just because naibigay mo na yung virginity mo doesn't mean you have to live with that mistake for the rest of your life if you think that it's a mistake. I have seen some girls cry over this and it's so difficult para dun sa mga ayaw na nilang ulitin but they feel the urge to just continue to give in kasi naiisip nila total naibigay ko naman na tutuloy ko na lang. Do not think that just because naibigay mo na yung virginity mo, hindi ka na pwedeng humindi. And if your partner doesn't understand that, then klarong-klaro that your love is no longer enough para sa kanya. It's no longer love that keeps your relationship alive, but the lust. And the best way to heal from this is to purify your future. You can be pure again. Purity is not something na pagwala na hindi mo na pwedeng balikan. Purity by definition means freedom. And be glad because this is the kind of freedom na kaya nating piliin. Pero yun nga, kailangan mo siyang piliin if you want to be pure again. And hindi siya magiging madali. Because if you choose to be pure again, don't expect na maiintindihan ka ng mundo. Maybe the people around you will not understand your choices. Maybe even your partner won't understand your choice. Temptations to do it again will keep on coming. And maybe you'll give in again. And then, after that, you'll feel bad again. And then you'll want to be pure again. Tapos, the cycle repeats and you'll get tempted again, tapos you'll give in again. And eventually, sa paulit-ulit na nangyayaring ganon, you will think na, imposible, ang hirap. It's not humanly possible to live a chaste life. And you know what? You're right. It is not humanly possible to be pure and stay pure. We cannot do this by our own human efforts alone. Because purity is a gift from God. And unless hingin natin yun sa Kanya, hindi niya ipipilit sa atin yun unless we want it. Kaya nga tayo may free will, diba? We have the choice to accept that gift or reject it. So purity is something that we must choose to receive. Choose to receive that freedom. And pray for the strength to be able to resist that temptation. Choose to go back to God. Kahit na ibigay mo na yung virginity mo nang hindi ka pa kasal, no sin can keep us away from God's love. He is a very forgiving and a very merciful God. Don't think na kapag ginawa mo yon, hindi ka natatanggapin ni Lord if you come to Him sincerely. God wants to give you this purity and inaantay lang tayo ni Lord na bumalik sa Kanya. So choose to receive this gift from God. Choose to go back to Him. Purity is so underrated that nobody wants to talk about it because nobody wants to feel guilty of giving up their virginity, right? But it is important to let people know, to let men and women know that you have the choice to be freed from this. Do not be afraid to go against the standards of society. Alam ko, marami ang natatakot na i-open up yung ganitong klaseng topic because of the fear that they might get judged. Natatakot na baka i-judge sila because they did it, or baka i-judge sila kasi they are choosing to go back to purity. Society is unpredictable nowadays. And like I said, iba-iba talaga tayo ng paniniwala when it comes to our sexuality. So do not be afraid to be part of the minority who still believes in chastity, who still believes that purity is the greatest quality of true love. Kaya I really appreciate whoever sent this question. I really admire your bravery. And if I were you, I would probably even be scared to ask about this. As a woman, I feel like I have lost a big part of me. And I might even think na may magmamahal pa ba sa akin after this? I would think, do I still deserve pure love? Many haunting thoughts like that. And it helps to be reminded that painful and embarrassing memories like that can be healed if you use them as a motivation to make things right. It is never too late to say no to sex, no matter how many times you have already given into it. Posible pang baguhin yon. At simulan mo nang bigyan ng halaga yung yes mo. That was a tough one. And for our last question, how to be contented with what you have? My answer to this question is very short and simple. If you want to be contented, be grateful. Be grateful for every single thing that you have, big or small, and eventually you'll realize that you have more than enough. It helps to count your blessings and be thankful for every single one. Thank the Lord for every single one, especially yung mga blessings na hindi natin nabibigyan ng pansin palagi. Like, thank the Lord na may ipin ka pa. Diba? You are still able to smile. Or thank God, Lord, thank you kasi kumpleto pa yung daliri ko. Thank you kasi may ilong pa ako at nakakahinga pa ako. From the smallest blessings to the greatest ones. From the most unnoticed ones to the ones that you notice. Be grateful. And you'll realize na sobrang yaman mo pala sa blessings. But if I were you, there would also be many times, especially pag nakikita ko sa ibang tao na parang mas nag-a-achieve sila kaysa sa akin, parang mas okay yung buhay nila kaysa sa akin. It always makes me wish na sana ganun din yung buhay ko or sana may ganun din ako. And usually, that's where discontent comes from. And whenever that happens na sa iba ka palaging tumitingin, you fail to see the things that you have. You are so focused on other people's blessings that you miss out on your own. So again, if you want to be contented, be grateful. And that's it for today's episode, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this as much as I did reading and answering your questions. Again, if you have any questions or kung gusto nyong humingi ng advice, you can comment them on the comment section below or you can send us a message on Facebook or on Instagram. And who knows, maybe your questions will be part of our next video. And I'm really excited to read all of your questions again, diba? Kasi yung ibang questions nyo talagang challenging at talagang na-challenge talaga ako. So, I really hope na mas madami pang magagandang questions for our next episode. And again, thank you for watching, guys. God bless you always.
Do you want to know?